Clic. Mao. Ça tue, ça blesse, ça flingue. Hey, hey, hey. Mao.
Welcome back to the BME to the BME podcast, the best sports podcast in New Jersey. Miles, Greg, how y'all doing tonight?
Doing good.
Yeah, man, I'm doing good, bro. I'm hoping that my internet service is good and we ain't got no problems. You know, it's over here looking like I'm on Spectrum One sometimes, so I got to make sure I'm straight.
Everything seems so far that is flowing correctly on your end. Before we get started, make sure y'all like, share, subscribe. We trying to be here for a good time and a long time. On this episode, we're gonna have a lot of NFL talk, looking at futures of NFL teams, looking at some of the college football teams, Mendoza conversation, the college football playoffs, Caleb Williams and that game that they pulled off. A little bit of NBA talk and some Christmas talk to end off this episode. But we're going to start off right here with this. Which of the top teams in the NFL do you feel have the best situation for prolonged success going forward?
I think the Patriots are going to be a team that's up there. When you talk about prolonged success, I mean, they haven't spent a ton of money. Drake's in his second year, and he's taking a MVP level leap. They haven't really fully filled out that roster quite yet. They got a great coach in place. It looks like the Patriots are back, man. I don't know if you see dynasty in the future necessarily. Yeah, a lot of things got to go right. It's an anomaly to have a dynasty, but that's a team that could easily be, and will probably be one of the pains in everyone's rear ends in the AFC for a long time, and they'll probably be right there in neck to neck battles with the Bills for AFC championships moving forward. So you got the quarterback right, you got the coach right, your defense is really really good. You've got a great offensive coordinator, who's historically great as well, and has a long track record of success. So, yeah, there's no reason why you can't be great moving forward and that there won't be a drop-off moving forward, unless there's injuries, right? Injuries aside. So this is a great situation. The Patriots are one of them, in my opinion.
Yeah, I like two teams, Jacksonville and Chicago, moving forward. Like, even though Jacksonville, they traded up a lot to get Travis Hunter, and I mean, it's still out to see if that was a good move or not. But in spite of that, they've built a great team here. Like, Trevor Lawrence has taken strides over the last month. He's played really well, and he went into Denver and threw almost 40 on that defense. So this is one thing I think in the offseason you're going to see a lot more of the offensive-minded assistants and OCs getting a lot more looks from some of these other teams that need a head coach, because look at how quickly this turned around for Jacksonville. They're one of the worst teams in the league for maybe like the last decade. And then all of a sudden Liam Cohen comes in with everything that was on the roster last year. And they're a few games out of being the number one seed in the AFC. And same goes for the Bears. Like, this is a dormant franchise that hasn't done anything since Walter Payton was there. So for him to have them moving like this, and then the confidence that these coaches put in their players. And Caleb, I mean, earlier on in the season, he was struggling. Now you see the confidence coming a little bit, where he's making throws that we saw in college. I mean, that throw he made the other night on Saturday, that was one of the best throws I've ever seen him make. And that was one of the best throws of the season. Off platform, throwing it 50 plus yards to DJ Moore. Like, I don't know what the grade would be for Caleb this year. It's not an A, but he's getting better. And I think with a new system, he's just only going to get better from here. And yeah, the Bears, they look a lot more promising than the Lions do. Because if I'm them, I'd be looking to pivot from Jared Goff at some point, because you've seen you can't win with this guy. Like, sure, you can mask it a little bit with Ben Johnson's creative plays, but now that he's not there, I mean, this offense is not what it used to be. So
Any other teams before we transition that comes to your mind for you, Greg? Anybody in that NFC East maybe comes to mind?
I mean, I think it's tough in the NFC East, man. I, I think it depends on how this offseason goes for the Giants and, who they hire before I could be confident to ever say them. Right now, things are bleak. I think there's talent in the roster, but there's got the right coach has to be hired. And frankly, the right GM has to be brought in, right? So there's too much uncertainty for me to say them. Um, Aside of that, in the NFC East, I mean, I would say of all the teams that I feel comfortable talking about, maybe you'd say Washington, but Jaden Daniels has to stay healthy. I think this year you kind of saw our concerns come to life where we talked about, hey, he takes too many hits, and they piled up on him really quick. His arm bent like a chicken bone, and he had the situation. He's had numerous injuries this year. He's been nicked up all year. They shut him down, and you saw that he wasn't quite as accurate this year. Now, I think that'll be fine. I think he's gonna be a great player moving forward. It's about staying on the field for that guy, especially with this build. So that's my concern there. But if he's healthy, sure. Like Dan Quinn's going to be a good coach in the NFL, and they have a decent GM. They have to get the roster better, but they have money, so why not? They could be a team. Across the league, I think we've talked about the majority of them. Obviously, the Jaguars are one of those sneaky ones. Liam Cohen's a great coach. Offensively, done a great job with them. They have a good thing going, and I think they went out there and they kind of exposed the Broncos for what we've been saying they are in here too. I don't want to jump into games. We'll talk more about that, but I don't know. I think we covered the big ones that have kind of been the risers this year. I don't know if there's a team that I'm necessarily forgetting with a great young quarterback, good coach, really good coach. The combination that I'm not thinking about right now. So I feel pretty comfortable. Patriots for sure. I know that's one that's a lot for sure. And the Bears are a really good pick with Ben Johnson and Caleb taking a step forward, which we'll talk more about. But yeah, I don't know. I think that's pretty much it for me.
Hey, so perfect transition. Talking about those Jaguars, they are 11-4 in the AFC, 5-2 away. They get a big win today, 34-20 against those Broncos. Are we taking the Jacksonville Jaguars as serious threats in the AFC with it seemingly being wide open now, where you see the Chiefs aren't going to be in there? The Bills have been up and down this year. Do they have a shot? Are they real contenders?
I think the Jaguars can make some noise in the playoffs. As I watched that game, and as I've seen the turn, the way that Trevor Lawrence has kind of turned that corner in his development, I've had the thought that as wide open as the AFC is, why not? Of course, yeah, and they're going to have a home field, at least one game at home with their record and what they've done. They're gonna be in position to play a home game this year in the postseason. So in that warm weather, I know everybody wants to play in the warm weather. It's not exactly a home field advantage, but it's better than going up to the frozen tundras and Buffalo and so on and so forth. They have an opportunity to do some cool things in the postseason. I think the work that Liam Cohen has done with Trevor Lawrence has been unreal. You can see why Trevor Lawrence was spoken about so highly coming out of college. It's kind of manifesting itself in our eyes in real time right now. What we're seeing from him, he's reading the field the best he's ever done it. He can make every throw imaginable. He's made some pretty ridiculous throws over the last couple of weeks. He's playing like the MVP of the league in these last few weeks. He's not going to win MVP, but he's been playing at an MVP level. They're doing this without Travis Hunter, right? That Parker Washington, the Jacoby Myers signing, which people kind of criticize, or the trade they made for him, and the signing, it's all paid off. It's all paid off for them. So I think they're a team that can definitely make some noise. Their defense has always been nasty all year. It's one of those things that have been kind of unheralded. People don't really talk about it, but that defense is nasty. So you pair that up with an offense that's humming right now and playing at a really high level. You just went over there and shredded the Broncos defense at the crib. Now, it's happened before this year. It ain't the first time. We won't get into that. But the point is, it's rarely happened. Maybe twice at home all year. And so for them to do that, it goes to show you that that offense is a buzzsaw right now. And so I'm really looking forward to seeing how the postseason goes for them. But I think they're a legitimate contender because, again, there's never been more parity in the AFC than there is right now. The only guy you got to get past, the guy you got to worry about, there's two people with two things. The Texans defense, that can really mess you up, and then also Josh Allen. Those two big factors are in the way. We talk about getting to a championship, a division round, or the Super Bowl, right? So, yeah, I think, and neither one of them are an immovable object. So I think they can do it for sure.
Miles, I want to ask you this, and I'm sure Greg, you would chime in. Another game that happened on this fine Sunday right here. The Pittsburgh Steelers beat the Detroit Lions, which Miles kind of alluded to earlier. That hey, Detroit, what's going on over there? Maybe it's time to make some changes over there since Ben Johnson isn't there. But we're not going to really discuss the Detroit side of it. With this win, this is the streak stays alive. Mike Tomlin has yet again another season with a winning record. Did this win and the streak staying alive, is that going to save Mike Tomlin's job in Pittsburgh?
I mean, he's not going to get fired. So, yeah, his job is safe. It's just whether they give him an extension past next year, which I don't know. Like, I think they'd have to make a deep playoff run for him to be considered to be here long term, at least longer than 20, 25 years. I mean, he's going on year 20 next year. So I think he's built in some grace with this organization where they're not going to fire him. They're going to keep him around. And because they have a winning season every year, he kind of gets a pass a little bit. Like, that's the same thing that's going to happen this year. They're going to be like, hey, I mean, we had Aaron Rodgers who's on half a leg, and he brought us to the playoffs. Maybe we can do something if we find another quarterback. I just don't think that's feasible. Like, I think he should be on the hot seat, honestly. Like, at this point, the last time they made a real playoff push, 2016. It's been like 10 years, it feels like, since they actually did something in the playoffs. Even when Big Ben was here and he was healthy, they didn't do anything. So, yeah, it was a good win. They beat Detroit, but they beat a battered Detroit team. They haven't really beat anybody this year that we really see as threats. So are they battle tested? Not really. They put all this money and all these trades into this team this year. You bring in DK, you bring in Jalen Ramsey, you bring in Aaron Rodgers, and before the season started, people were talking about them as maybe a Super Bowl contender, but I don't see that. I think if Baltimore wins tonight, and then that final game, Week 18, that's the decider for the division. They're going to have to win that game if they want to have a home game. Because I don't know. I don't even know if Rodgers makes it through the year. He's been battling so many injuries. One hit could have you playing Mason Rudolph in the playoffs. So I don't know. It's not a fun time being a Steelers fan, just because it's so much up and down with this team. But we'll see. We'll see.
Can I just say I'd be lying to you if I thought that this win didn't save his job, and he won it by the skin of his teeth. I was telling my wife during the game, I said, this is the kind of game that if you lose, you get fired for sure. Like, he's going to get fired if he loses this game. And so they won, and he stays alive to see another day. They don't make changes very frequently in Pittsburgh, so I think with that ownership group to win that game and lock in another non-losing season, which seems to be his thing. We don't have losing seasons, but we don't have winning seasons either. We don't win championships, unless Ben Roethlisberger carries us to a chip. That seems to be good enough for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And by the way, being on the other side of things and losing a lot, I'll tell you this. I made sure to tell my wife, you should appreciate the fact that you guys are never awful. I mean, it does suck. You guys need to bottom out to get a quarterback, but there's worse. You could be worse. Like, it could be in a worse place. Losing isn't fun. It sucks. So There is that aspect of it, but I do think that the mediocrity of it all needs to change. If you are a blue blood franchise that says you want to win championships, this can't be good enough for you. That's all I'm gonna say. Because you know damn well they ain't winning no playoff game. You know it's not gonna happen. You know,
Home field or not, they not.
They going on
That's
the road. They locked to go on
that's
the road
their
for the most
mo.
part.
That's their mo. We gonna
Right.
win 9, 10 wins maybe. We might go 8-8 when it was a 16-game season. But once playoff time come, no, win a game. What? Not since Ben was good. Not since Ben retired. No way. I'm good. They like me. My job is safe. So it's kind of similar to when you talk about not same thing, but look at 2K, for example. Who am I competing with? What does Mike Tomlin have to worry about in Pittsburgh? There ain't never been a serious time after he won that Super Bowl where it was like, hey, Mike is on the hot seat. That black man know his job is safe. It's gonna be on him if he want to get up out of there. So he ain't got nothing to worry about. On the flip side, when we talk about it could always be worse. Kansas City Chiefs. We know Mahomes is out. The backup quarterback, Minshew, look like he out. The Chiefs as a whole, looking at macro, there's been conversations, there's been podcasts, there's been articles written that, hey, maybe that there needs to be some changes made because it's been a little bit too much. Mahomes got to be our Superman and save us. The roster doesn't look good. The receivers they haven't put enough around him. What would you guys do? How would you fix and what changes would you make going forward for the Chiefs? I've heard discussion of even getting rid of Andy Reid or bringing back Bieniemy because he wasn't a good head coach, but maybe Miles shakes his head no, but maybe he can help with the offense and the play calling. What would y'all do if y'all the GM, y'all the owner, y'all trying to fix this Chiefs team to get back to prominence, build that dynasty back up? What would y'all do? What changes would y'all make?
And I know when I heard the Bieniemy thing, I know that the issue Bieniemy had as a head coach option in the past was that he was just really hard to play for because he was a hard ass, right? Like he was hard to deal with. He held guys accountable. He was overly to a point where it was too much, right? And so I do think that if you're saying you need that guy and you're leaking reports that you missed that guy, that tells me there's an accountability problem in the building, right? That there's an issue in the building that guys are getting away with things because they're on scholarship because of what they've done in the past, right? I think about Travis Kelce in that way. I think about other guys that are there as well. Look, I think a lot of teams do this when they have a great quarterback. They get overconfident, they get arrogant with the roster building process, and they kind of take a shortcut on things and they don't invest in the wide receiver room the same way. They don't invest in weapons around this guy. They don't invest in the offensive line because you think that this guy can just do anything. Like you think that he is invincible and that you don't need those pieces to win because you have the best quarterback in the league who's also was simultaneously in the GOAT conversation. Like not really touching Brady in that way, but at least like people talk about him like as one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time already. So when you have all those things that kind of working in conjunction and working together, it can create an environment like this. It can create a team like this that isn't good enough to compete. And create a situation where you feel like every single game, is just a battle to score points because that's the reality of it. The defense isn't the issue; they don't score points. They simply are not explosive offensively, and Mahomes has regressed. He's missing some throws he doesn't typically miss. Like if something's off with the internal clock, something's off with it's something. But he has not played well this year. Truly, he's played well in spurts, but not up to the standard that he set for himself. So it's a long list of things you can do to fix that team. I don't agree with the idea of firing Andy Reid. I've heard that. I think people are out of their minds if they say that. That's one of the greatest coaches of our generation of all time. And he wasn't the problem when y'all were winning. He sure as hell how you the problem now. That don't make no sense. The issue is it's a talent problem. It's a talent acquisition problem. They need to address that first. And once they address that, that you can move forward from there. But maybe you can make some trades, trade some key pieces, some pieces away for other pieces. Maybe that's the way you can go about doing it. I'm not going to sit here and act like we on a Chiefs podcast. The only thing, we ain't going to do that. I can't speak to what they should trade as well. Maybe some pieces defensively, but I'd be careful if I were them doing that. But you need to make sure that you make moves that support your quarterback in the pursuit of future championships, and they have not done that on the offensive side of the ball. Especially, and really, the downturn of it all, the where it changed was to Tyreek Hill letting him walk. Right, decided they were going to let him go because they didn't want to pay him. That's where everything changed. Right, bringing back Chris Jones, who has not played well this year. Right, he didn't even know he wasn't in the playoffs. He thought they were still competing for playoffs seeding, and he had no idea. He had to be told that by a reporter after the game. So, I say all that to say you've got to be strategic here about this. But if they got Tyreek Hill all these years, maybe things will be different.
I don't know. I think they got to look at like the Eagles' way of building a team, where they start in the front. You start with the O-line, you start with the D-line. I think Chris Jones, he's not. I don't want to say he's washed up, but that's a lot of money to pay to a guy who's only got 4 sacks this year. So they're gonna have to do some subtracting at some point because, yeah, you're paying a lot of money to Patrick Mahomes. Kelsey's made a lot of money, but I think he's gone after this year. So, I mean, are we far off from saying they should just tank next year and then use kind of this next year and a half to try to build a second dynasty? It's one of those things where, yeah, they had a great run for however long. Felt like 7-8 years. But now they've reached a point where teams have caught up. They've caught on to your schemes, and you're not able to score because we're like 4 or 5 years removed from that Rams-Chiefs game where they scored 50 points each. And it's like, how are we stopping the Patrick Mahomes show? He's in GOAT conversations already. And, I mean, I'm sure after the last couple of years, those have kind of slowed down a little bit. But I don't think he's fully to blame for why they're struggling or they can't get over the hump. I mean, they made the Super Bowl last year but got destroyed. This year, same struggles that they went into the Super Bowl with showed their ugly head. Like, they don't have a Tyreek Hill. So the offense is completely different. Like, and I know some Chiefs fans want to fire Andy Reid, but the grass is not always greener once you get rid of that guy. Look at what happened to the Eagles after they did that. Like, they struggled for a little bit before finding some success with Doug Peterson. So, yeah, this is a part of it. You're not always gonna be the best team. You're not always gonna be the team to beat. But don't use that first round pick on the running back. I see some mock drafts doing the whole love to Kansas City. It's unnecessary. Like, you need to draft D-line, O-line, and then build it out.
Especially being that running backs, respectfully, there's going to be 5-6 legit top tier running backs every draft.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all don't have Mahomes next year. Do not try to, hey, let's see if we can get to the playoffs or to the Super Bowl without Mahomes. No, just tank, get some good draft picks, some high draft picks, get some more talent in there so when Mahomes does come back, y'all get straight to it. On the flip side, one of the quarterbacks that was compared to Mahomes because of the off-platform throws and because of the pizzazz and the swagger, not the nail painting, but everything else that you get from a Mahomes at his peak and being top-tier TV to watch, was Caleb Williams. After this most recent game, has your opinion on Caleb Williams and the Bears as a team, has your opinion changed at all regarding the Bears and Caleb Williams?
It's case 1,895,001 of the fact that a coach can come in and change everything for a team. So Ben Johnson comes in and creates one of the great rushing attacks in the league. They run the ball better than just about any other team in the NFL, and they do it in so many different ways. And it's really creative the way they go about it, the way they block it up. And what it's done is protected Caleb Williams from himself. It's limited the amount of risky throws he makes over the course of a game. It's limited the amount of hero throws he has to make over the course of a game. So we're not seeing the worst thing about him. Now we're seeing the good things because he can make every single throw imaginable. The reason why people said generational, we slapped the generational tag on him when he was coming out of USC is because there wasn't a throw he couldn't make, and he can do it at any angle. He can do it running to his left, running to his right, fading away, running forward. It doesn't matter, right? Falling forward, it was Patrick Mahomes' that's arm talent, and I would say that it doesn't jump off Mahomes' hands the way it jumps off Caleb Williams' hands. It's different. It's different. I've never seen anything quite like it. Truly, when you saw him come out of USC and even in the NFL. So now you have some structure around him. He's getting coached at a high level, and you see the throw he made to DJ Moore at the end of that game, and fading away, falling over to his left side, makes that throw, drops it in the bucket. You can't throw it any better. You couldn't walk it to him any better than that. It's truly incredible. But his development is no surprise because Ben Johnson has lived up to his end of the bargain and has been worth every ounce of hype he got in the coaching cycle last year. So yeah, man, they got it right, and Caleb Williams has certainly changed the narrative. He has. He has. I mean, and I think Bears fans have every reason to be excited about the future moving forward. Ryan Poles is more than saved his job 10 times over with the acquisitions, even in the front, the offensive line and things of that nature. But man, you got to be excited. You got to be excited about them. So yeah, I would say that they definitely are a team to be reckoned with moving forward. And Caleb Williams is on the track to be a top 10 quarterback in the league. He's on the track. Is he there right now? I wouldn't necessarily say that, but he's right outside the top 10. He's on the way. Is he better than Jalen Hurts? I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I mean, he is, but I'm not going to do that.
You need to get one of these first.
Yeah, you see, here you go. He's been better than this year, that's all I'm saying.
Low bar.
He said low bar.
You're right.
Hey, so college football playoff, we are now currently in the quarterfinals. We have matchups of Oregon against Texas Tech, Indiana against Alabama, Georgia, Ole Miss, Ohio State, Miami. Of the quarterfinals games, which of those games intrigue you the most?
Georgia, Ole Miss. I'm really interested to see. First of all, what's the fallout of Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin leaving and those players calling Lane Kiffin a liar on the way out, and everyone kind of slamming the door shut behind Lane Kiffin as he left. Right, this nasty public breakup we saw. What's the fallout? How are they going to go out there and play? Are they going to roll over? Are they going to go out there and play hard and not be distracted? And want to prove to Lane Kiffin that he made a mistake leaving them behind. There's that. To factor in. Georgia is the big bad wolf, right? Every time you think Georgia is in trouble, they just go out there and they beat someone down in the SEC because they run the SEC. It runs through them right now. So they're the prohibitive favorites, but Ole Miss offensively is explosive. I want to see if the offense changes because Lane's not there anymore. What was his imprint on the offense? We know a coach leaving can change your offense. It can change the way that the plays are called. It can change the level of trust your quarterback has. Or that your team has in your quarterback because you're not putting the ball in his hands to win games the same way you would have been. So I'm interested to see what Trinidad does in that environment. I've liked Trinidad all year. He's been one of those quiet sleeper guys for me that I've just enjoyed watching play football. He makes all these big throws, and he can make any throw imaginable. He's a big, sturdy guy running the football. He's physical, right, too. He's a dual threat. I like him a lot. So I just want to see what Ole Miss looks like against that Georgia team in light of the drama that unfolded with Lane Kiffin. So for me, that's the game I want to see. And let's see if Georgia has any kind of cracks in their armor, and if they can be gotten to here early in the college football playoff. Am I anticipating that? No. I think Kirby Smart knows what he's doing. too great of a coach and a too good of a football team. But I'll tell you this: I like Trinidad Chambers more as a quarterback than I like Gunnar Stockton. And I've been more of a fan of him watching him play than I have been of Gunnar. So we'll see. We'll see. Gunnar could go out there and prove me wrong and throw for 400. It seems to be what people do on this thing. They hear me say something on a podcast, and then Bo Nix goes out there looking like John Elway the next week. What do you look like this week? They ain't gonna say nothing in the comments now. This week is exactly why I said what I said about Bo Nix, by the way. This week is exactly why I made those comments. But it's okay. They'll learn.
Miles, before we do our predictions of who we feel is going to win the entire thing, from the quarterfinals, which of the games are you looking forward to most watching?
I have two. I got Oregon versus Texas Tech, just because I want to see Dante Moore continue to play well. He played well in this first game, but not much of a test. And then I want to see Indiana versus Alabama. Like, you got Indiana, who's kind of coming off a high of you win the Big Ten championship, Heisman Trophy winner. It's like, it feels like that was their chip almost. Like, you beat Ohio State, you beat the big bad wolf, and now what is left to prove? Maybe try to get a championship. It's a 2-week layoff. Sometimes having these buys kind of like hurts the higher seed just because they haven't played football and really had competitive, outside of playing your teammates in practice, but like you're not really getting that competitive edge that some of these other teams have gotten. So, I mean, Alabama, another SEC team, I wouldn't sleep on them. Like, even though Nick Saban's not there anymore, this Alabama team is still really good. They've had some big wins. They beat Georgia earlier this year, and they beat a good Oklahoma team. So they're pretty battle tested. So hey, if Mendoza goes out there and lays an egg, it's not going to look good. And I know Pavio be throwing his remote at his TV saying, "I told you so. I should have had it." But that's going to be it. Those are the two matchups that I'm looking forward to the most.
Sidebar: Drake May just ran for a first down on 2nd and 14. It's looking like, unless some miracle happens, the Patriots will rack up another W, and the Ravens will be 7-8, more than likely missing the playoffs, which we will talk about because there's been discussions on should Harbaugh's job be on the line. Lamar Jackson, a whole bunch to go talk about when you talk about Baltimore. But you mentioned Mendoza. I've seen Bill Simmons pod and what's the guy, Merrill Hodges, and I've seen multiple people. They're high on Mendoza. Mendoza, that's the guy. He has the stuff. I like what I'm seeing. Are y'all as high on Mendoza as some of the scouts have been as of late? It wasn't like this the entire season, but as of late, probably over the last month, there's been a lot of scouts saying, yeah, Mendoza's, that's the number one guy. You need to take him. He has everything that you need, the intangibles, all of it. We love Mendoza. Are y'all as high on Mendoza?
I mean, it's a weaker draft now. I mean, if we're hyping him up like he's the top dog, and you compare to like some of the other drafts we've seen in the past, like even Caleb Williams' draft, he'd probably be taken after Bo Nix. That's how stacked that draft was. So I'm not completely sold. Like, he played well against Ohio State, and you'd like for them to dominate, but he made some great throws in there. That it's a great Ohio State defense that he played and made plays against. So hey, maybe he makes a run in this playoff and shows me a little more. But I'm still a little higher on Dante Moore than I am on Fernando Mendoza. Like, I think his ceiling is higher, and you saw it. What was that, yesterday? And some of the throws that he's able to make, and it's just effortless. It looks so easy. And that's a guy you can see being an all-pro at some point. And he's only 20 years old. So I'm hopeful as a Jets fan that he decides to come out in a couple weeks, and that's that. But like, in this draft class, Mendoza's really the guy. You're not really talking about anybody else because a lot of the QBs have gone back to school, or the ones that are in the draft had bad years. Cade Klubnik, Garrett Nussmeier, Drew Aller. These are guys who were talked about as first round picks coming into the year, long before anybody was talking about Mendoza. And they fell off a cliff. So, I mean, right now it feels like the hype train is it's only going faster for Mendoza. And let's see what happens in the playoffs. That's the biggest goal right here. The scouts are looking for is like, how does he perform in like a playoff atmosphere where, yeah, everybody's eyes are on you.
I think with him, it's like I don't think he's an undeniable prospect where I think that no matter where he goes, he's gonna have success. I think where he goes matters, like most of these guys. But I do think that teams are gonna fall head over heels for this guy because he just says all the right stuff. I'm pretty sure he only drinks beets and stuff. He don't drink no soda. He sleeps at 8 o'clock every night on the dot. If he's up late because he's watching film, is he doesn't even look at women. He's asexual, so you don't got to worry about the women piece of it. Like everything about him is what coaches love. He just kind of everything that comes out of that guy's mouth is something that a coach would dream about. That guy, he just kind of fits what they want their quarterback to be. Very Kirk Cousins like. He kind of reminds me a lot of Kirk Cousins with the persona, the way he kind of approaches things. He's just kind of nerdy, right? Super nerdy, right? Very very religious. So it just kind of fits the mold, right? Again, nothing wrong with any of these things. This is all good. These are all good things, and this is why I think teams are going to love him. I think teams are going to love this guy. So I personally think that we have to kind of try to delineate the football talent and the overall like persona and what people love about the intangibles, right? You have to kind of separate the two things and be able to evaluate them for what they are. As a football player, I guess my thing is he's not the most mobile guy in the world, so he's more of your classic or prototypical quarterback. But he can throw. I mean, he really has a rocket of an arm. So I think that he's worth number one pick. In long story short, I think he's worth the number one overall pick. Unless Dante Moore does something incredible here to close the gap, I think he will be your number one overall pick. Doesn't mean that Dante Moore will not be a better professional football player than him. It's about where he goes. It's about where each of these guys go. But I do think that teams are going to be clamoring to get the guy like Mendoza in the room, the adult in the room, because he'll be your most mature player in year one, which is just rare. So there's that too. But he's good. He's really good.
Looking ahead this year, Christmas Thursday, man, time has been flying. Like it was just Thanksgiving, like last week. We're at Christmas in 4 days. We have NFL football and NBA basketball on Christmas Day. We'll start with the NFL slate. As Cowboys Commanders, I don't think anybody on the screen gives a darn about that game. Lions Vikings. This has playoff implications. How do we see the Lions Vikings game going, which will be on Netflix?
I think the Lions should win, possibly in a landslide, just because I think JJ McCarthy might be done for the year. Didn't look good with the hand injury there, and now you got to play that Max Brosmer guy again, and we saw what happened the first time. So, yeah, Detroit's a little banged up, but it doesn't get any more worse than having your third string quarterback out there. And like you said, they're fighting for the playoff lives. They're not going to let this guy come in to Detroit and beat them. So I'm taking Detroit. Hopefully, Jahmyr Gibbs and some of them do some things next week for my fantasy teams.
I'll tell you this. I know when they originally made the schedule, it looked good, but Cowboys, Commanders, they have not panned out. Jayden Daniels is injured. Lions Viking is literally the best game on the slot because the night game is Broncos Chiefs, and we already talked about how the Chiefs turned out. So This year, at least, Christmas still belongs to the NBA. It is. It is the holiday for the
This is
NBA.
what they get. This is what the NFL gets for being so greedy, trying to step on the toes of the NBA, stepping on a long-standing tradition the NBA's had. Now you have this slate of games that is literally garbage, and no game that's happening has any consequence at all behind it. Like none of these games matter, right? I mean, Lions Packers is a good game in the sense that most of their best players are healthy, right? But for outside of that and what I'm seeing, I'm just kind of looking at this slate for Christmas Day, and I'm talking to you guys. It's awful. I mean, I think I see Chiefs and Broncos here. What is that? The Chiefs are going to start me on Christmas Day, right? Like this is horrific. So I'm honestly like, again, this is the greed they talk about in the Bible. This is it. Like when you try to step on their toes and get more money and stuff your pockets and line your pockets up, these owners get greedy and they want to, infringe on the Christmas holiday. This is what happens. I've always been an NBA guy on Christmas, anyways. I don't really fool with the NFL on Christmas. That's never been me. And I will, and I'll tell you this: that tradition will stand. It will stand here for sure. I'll be watching the NBA. I'll be watching LeBron and watching whoever else they got on Christmas Day. I'm sure the Knicks will be playing. Jalen Brunson and Victor Wembanyama, and all that stuff, whatever. We'll watch. That's just the way to go on Christmas Day. But what a joke.
You say it was so much disgust. Like they're playing bad. We just won the cup.
Yeah. What I seem to remember that when the Lakers won the cup, I didn't hear all this chatter about winning the cup. It didn't seem to matter. It was just like, oh, who cares? It doesn't mean anything. Blah blah blah. Oh, the Knicks aren't raising the banner. They're not raising the banner. What if you won in my whole life? Raise the damn banner. You ain't won nothing. Raise the banner. What are you talking about?
We're not here for these.
It's championship. It's championship standards in New York now, right? That's what we're talking about. It wasn't there my whole life. You raised the damn banner. You won something. Celebrate that win. Raise it. Raise the banner. Do a ceremony for Jalen Brunson on 4th Street or whatever.
We're not doing that.
Man, it struck me as so pretentious when I saw that headline come across I was like, really? You're not raising the banner? Okay, Leon and all you guys over there. All right, fine, man. That's cool.
It's really not that deep.
It is that deep. Y'all won. It is in fact that deep. It's very deep. You guys won. It means something. You guys beat a very good Spurs team in an intense environment. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. That's a good Spurs team. They were healthy. It wasn't like they rolled over. Wemby, I'm starting jacking up three because he's an idiot. We don't talk about him enough. He's an idiot. And I'm so sick and tired of the Wembanyama hype train. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the Wembanyama hype train. I'm serious. I really am. Like, I've seen great players come up, and I've seen great players with a lot of hype and everything. Wembanyama is not that smart. He does a whole lot of talking, there's a whole lot of posturing, there's a whole lot of puffing your chest, there's a whole lot of I don't like this guy, I don't like OKC. He's trying to fit the persona of what people love in their superstars of the past, but you're not a smart player. You're tall as hell, and you just jack up threes and you go into these hero ball modes where you literally lose games for your team. They should never lose with Wembanyama on the floor. Never. Think about how crazy it is that he's that height and can move that well, and you just jack up threes left and right simply because you can. You're an idiot. Truly, it's idiotic. With all that talent on that roster, you're losing. You lost some game. It doesn't make any sense. You should have lost that game in the cup. People are going to disagree with this. I'm not enamored with this game. He has to grow up. He's immature. Wembanyama is immature. People are not going to be enamored with what I'm saying. They're gonna call me all types of stuff in the comments. Okay, cool. He does not play a smart brand of basketball for a guy that size who can move that well. Period. He don't rim run enough. You know how many easy dunks you should get? Come on, man.
With those point guards as well, specifically a Castle and a Harper, they're gonna get him to rock for sure. But as the Joe Button podcast cast would say, we potting? All right, we going to pot. So in that same mindset, when you talk about Wemby and his shot selection, I could just hear some Lakers fans, I could just hear some Dallas Mavericks fans say, hey, hold on. Easy on Wemby. What about that man Luca and his shot selection? Does his shot selection is that really conducive for winning?
I'm not so sure it's shot selection as much as it is about his approach to the game every game. I just think he comes into the game looking for a certain amount of calls a game, looking to get to the line a certain amount of times, and that's no way to approach the game, especially for a guy that talented. Look, Luca, no matter what you want to say about his faults, and he has plenty of faults, he's just so good at basketball that you can justify keeping him around and having him on your basketball team, right? Like you're lucky to have him if you have him. That's just the truth. As long as he's in his prime, you're lucky to have him, and he's in shape. And he was fat and just rolling, steamrolling dudes, just getting barreling through the league on an MVP track for years. So there's that part too. But I do think the shot making, like the three ball in particular, hasn't been where it needs to be, and hasn't been where it has been in the past when he played in Dallas. There was a time where Luka just kind of felt inevitable. Like it just kind of felt like he was gonna rip off, 15 straight points in a game and put you away. And he does that some nights with the Lakers here this year. And so you heard some MVP buzz early, but it hasn't been as frequent lately because he's not shooting that three ball as well. But he's still taking those shots, which is why people are questioning the shot selection. That's really what it is. He's shooting the ball like someone who's shooting the ball at a high clip, but he's not shooting it at the high clip. So you notice it because he's missing. That's why everyone's talking about it. He was making those shots when he was making it early this year. No one had nothing to say, right? That's the reality of it. Now, granted, I do think a change in approach is necessary. I do think that LeBron being the bystander when you're not playing that well is rough, right? I do think the usage and how long he pounds the air out the basketball on offense can be tough when you're not playing that well, when you're not making shots to justify the usage rate. There's a lot of things that the Lakers fans should be frustrated about, but Luka's such a great basketball player. He's going to turn the corner. I'm not worried. It's early in the season. They've got 18 wins at this point. I don't think anyone anticipated them having that level of success to this point. The injuries have piled up on them. Rui and all these guys, and Austin Reeves and all these guys getting hurt, right? That's piled up. So I think people have to chill a little bit. I would say that with him, but if you want to look, Luka has very real warts in this game. I think that he needs to be more of a driver and he needs to live more in the painted area, and he doesn't do that nearly enough right now. And he's in shape, so there's no excuse. So if you want to be frustrated about that, go ahead. Lakers, I'll tell you one thing Lakers fans are good at. They go find a reason to be mad about something. It's never good enough. Never. Yo, they win a championship. It's never good enough. But you see here, Miles, actually, this is good. This is full circle. I love doing this. This is full circle. That is an organization that is used to winning championships. If the Lakers organization told us we ain't raising that cup ban, which I don't know if they did or not. I can't remember, but they did.
They did.
Yeah, they did.
Okay. Oh, so whoa. The Lakers, who've been winning championships our whole entire lives, chose to raise that banner, but the Knicks said, "Oh, we're too good for that. That's not our standard." What is your standard? What is the standard what the Knicks have? You tell me your standard. Tell me it. That pissed me off. That really bothered me. What's the standard over there then? Because I've been seeing this bullshit. You see? You're gonna get me mad. You're gonna get me out of character, bro. Don't even get. You see it, yo, bro. Yo, Miles, how that make sense?
Deep. It's not that deep.
It's very deep. It's deep. That don't make no sense. Tone, tell me how it makes sense, Tone.
Hey, it don't make sense, but it's Miles. It's not that deep for me.
Because it's not for me. It's not that deep. Like, it was cool. I was happy we won the cup, but I also looked at it like another game. Like, these are good learning moments for this team that has championship aspirations. So you win a game like this, where sure, there's a lot on the line. There's money on the line. There's guys who make the minimum got an extra boost. So there's a lot on the line there. I just looked at it like, hey, good for them. They got a little bit of extra cash in their pockets. Let's move forward. Like, the season didn't end here. We're trying to end the season in June. So, yeah, looking at the whole hanging the banner, sure, they could change their mind at some point. But, like, that's not my concern right now. My concern is, like, can we be the best conference?
I don't understand that you're concerned and that you want to go on and have a great season and that the cup is not like the be all end all, but you won something. The NBA is trying to make this thing a thing, and the Knicks aren't helping by poo-pooing on the idea of raising a banner when they ain't won nothing my whole life. Okay, so it makes no sense.
Should we hang a
How
banner?
many division? When you win the division, you raise a banner. How many divisions have the Knicks won since I've been born? I'm gonna look it up.
That's a good question,
bro.
Grok, how many championships? Let me ask Grok real quick. But yeah, it's like we're not raising banners for dunk contests or 3-pointers. Like those are things we've won in the past. But hey, I don't want to.
It's not the same.
It's not the same, sure. But
it's not.
If you want to raise a banner, do it. If not, cool. Like the fact that this was a topic this week was so silly.
Because they made it a topic by announcing they weren't going to raise a banner. They made it a thing. Made it a thing.
Sure. I guess Adam Silver could take it as a slap in the face because they're trying to draw more attention to this to make it a thing. I don't care. Like, this is the third year it's been going down. Cool. It's fun. It's fun to see these teams try to compete and then try to, get the point differentials certain ways. But it's still not an improvement on the season. Like, I don't look at it like the NBA season's that much better just because we have a cup now.
True. And to make this full circle, go back to Luka, I'll say this. You'd much rather have Luka right now than have AD at this point. So, let's give this some time, with the Lakers fans being concerned. But they are justified in being concerned. Luka's shot selection has not been great. But I just put a button on it. This Knicks thing, me and Miles never going to see eye to eye because I don't understand how a storied franchise like the Lakers who raise a banner, but the Knicks who have done nothing my whole life, literally have done nothing my whole life, decide we're not raising a banner. That don't make sense. It doesn't make sense, but okay, that's fine.
All right,
hey, my take on it was, if Harry Styles got something up there that's a 15 sold out shows or something like that, y'all might want to.
They raise a banner for anything. James Dolan bought a new tie and they raised a banner in MSG. And you can't raise a banner for a cup that you won? It's a joke.
Hey, Miles, if they don't win a chip, they gotta raise the banner though. If they don't win a chip this year, Dolan gotta reach out and
what
raise
are the
banner.
odds the Knicks are gonna win the NBA championship this year though? Think about it. You should celebrate everything you do, every win you get. Jesus, bro. You got to go through OKC. You got to do all these crazy ass teams.
Hey, anything can happen. Who would have thought the Pacers?
Detroit's really good.
Been 48 minutes from a chip last year. We didn't even think they were a playoff team at one point. So there's a long season. We're in December. You were here thinking like we're 7 months ahead. Slow down.
Looking at the Christmas schedule, right? One of the worst games on the docket is the Cavs-Knicks game. No, it's not because of the Knicks. The Cavs have been decimated with injuries up and down this year. So that's a game that if you have kids, you still opening the presents, you can start playing with them, play 2K with your kids, whatever you want to do. You only need to turn on the 12 o'clock game. But speaking on the Knicks, though, in the last 10 games, this man, Jalen Brunson, has been on a tear. 28 points, 6.9 assists, 47% from the field. He just recently had tonight a 47-piece, shooting 57% from the field, 46 from 3, 8 assists, 3 rebounds, and 100% from the free throw line. He is an undersized guard, but he has been playing at an MVP level. We know he won't get MVP. I want to ask this, kind of alluding to what you said earlier, just about 5 minutes ago. Is there true belief and hope that Jalen Brunson, at his size, can actually be the number one option and lead the Knicks to a title? Maybe not this year, but in his tenure there, playing at this level that he's playing at, what's the likelihood of a championship happening with the Knicks as him being the number one option?
I think it's definitely possible. Like, if you look at it, since he's been a Knick, each year we've only gotten better. And in the playoffs, he's a playoff riser. Like 2 years ago, if not for injuries, we would have been right there with Boston again, making a conference finals appearance. And then last year, I mean, that was just terrible luck that some crazy bounces went the other way. But now this year, this is a team that is playing really well right now. Like, I know the Pistons are up there right now as the number one team in the East, but I mean, this team is won 10 out of 11, 9 out of the last 10, something like that. And we've beaten some good teams along the way. So, with Jalen Brunson leading the way, playing as great as he is, sure, you can always have that argument, the Becky Hammond argument. That's what it's going to go down as. Can a small guard be your lead on a championship team? I think so. Like, if AI can do it, which at that time, totally different. It was totally different. But same vein, Jalen Brunson can get his own bucket. He's the closer, Mr. Clutch. I believe we can make a run this year. And sure, the Western Conference is what it is. Let those guys duke it out, and whoever comes out, hopefully we're in the finals playing that team. Like, as a Knicks fan, they got to still make some moves to improve the roster. But right now, this team is humming. And Jalen Brunson, there's not many words I can say about this guy. Like, he's the best Knick I've seen in my lifetime. And arguably, I'd say he's in the top 10 of NBA players in the league right now.
That second game on the slate. You wanted to add to the JB?
I just want to say on JB, I love Jalen Brunson. I will forever be a big fan of Jalen Brunson's game, ever, and have been before he was a Knick. What I'm going to say is I'm skeptical about him being the number one option on a championship team, a team that wins the finals, primarily because teams just like to pick on him in the postseason. And we've seen it happen multiple times. I think if the wings around him, like OG and McCall, play out of their minds, they got a legitimate shot. They got a shot to overcome that. But they'd be overcoming him being a liability on defense, because he is a liability defensively in the postseason. Teams match up on him and go after him. Teams match up on Cat and go after Cat. We get him in space, and they go at him every single time, because Cat has big, slow feet. And so that's tough when you have two defensive liabilities who you're also happen to be your best two offensive players. That is the reason why the Knicks, as a concept, as a championship concept, are flawed, because your best two players don't defend great. Right, so those wings, OG and McCall, got to play out of their minds for this thing to happen. They got to shoot a blistering percentage from three for you guys to get to the finals. It can happen. It can happen. The East is open, but you got Detroit and you got Atlanta. I don't know what Atlanta's record is right now and what they're going to be when it's all said and done. But Jalen Johnson's awesome. I know that for a fact. So we'll see. And Dyson Daniels is awesome. They got a lot of guys who can defend on that roster. So we'll see. But I think this is the best chance that they're going to have. So there's certainly an opportunity for them to get to the finals. I ain't saying it can't happen. I'm just telling you what Stevie Wonder could see. That's all I'm telling you. Stevie Wonder could see what I'm saying. I just said. I told y'all.
I think a better option would have been Ray Charles, because Stevie isn't blind. But I get what
there you go.
I get
that's
what
why
you're
you can
saying.
See it. That's why you can see
it. That next game, this is when actually the Christmas schedule gets good. On both sides, you got San Antonio, Oklahoma City matchup, rematch. OKC, do they get their lick back in this game?
Yeah,
I think so. That's the kind of game, like matchup where if they match up on a postseason series, it'd be a 7-game series, like lock. Like that's where it's going to be back and forth, trading, right? And I'll take OKC every time, because I don't think Wemby's that smart right now. I think he has some growing up to do. I just don't. I'm sorry. I just don't think that guy's that smart. He can prove. Hopefully, he proves me wrong at some point. I just think that when you don't live at the rim and most of your shots come at the rim at that size, it's an abomination. It's a joke.
You're just creating merch right now. He's gonna show up to the game with "He's not smart" on his shirt, and they're gonna be like, "Hey, where do I get a shirt like that?"
They're gonna kill me in the comments, because everyone loves Wemby. They can't get enough of Wembanyama. Like they can't get enough. All right. He's the perfect face of the NBA. Really? All right, that's cool. Yeah, I'm turning into the old folks. Aren't I? I'm turning into the people that I don't like.
Yeah, you're
That's what's
right
happening
now.
I'm turning into them. I'm not embracing the new age. But I like Cade and them dudes. Tone, your sound's not in. If I can't hear you.
It's still some credence to it in what you're saying in the aspect of 7'6". Not often are you in the paint like you should be, and which is the hopeful aspect and the potential where you think he could be the future greatest of all time is the hope that he gets stronger, because it's too many times where we see he's taking it off the dribble as they see you as a guard, and at 7'6", he's doing one-legged fades. He's leaning. He's acting like he's a guard where, they teach guards, you're going to jump into the chest of the defender to create the contact and make sure that they're not able to block you. You're 7'6". You don't have to you don't have to do that. You should not be playing like a guard, Wemby. It makes absolutely no sense on that regard. And I think that's a bigger issue though, macro. Our bigs now and our players in general that may be physically imposing, may be taller, they all settle for threes. That's the era that we grew up, and like Miles just said, one of his favorite players, that was mind-boggling. I heard that, but one of his favorite players that he watched growing up was Russell Westbrook.
Well, you see. Speaking of IQ,
Hey, you might want to get your nap in. You might want to get your nap in after that game. You got at 5:00 Dallas at Golden State. Another sleeper right there. AD in and out the lineup. He might play. Cooper Flag's been coming on as of late.
He's been hooping though.
Steph is still putting up crazy. He just broke the record for most 40-point games over the age of 35 or something. He just broke Michael Jordan's record over 30, whatever the number was. He just broke the record. But they're not winning games. That's a sleeper game right there. Go take a nap, wake up so you're up for the last two games of the night, which is Houston at LA. Houston's been balling as of late. You talk about Christmas Day, you talk about cinema, you talk about feet and families, you talking about a movie. KD, Bron, Luca, Austin Reeves, Sengun. That's going to be absolute cinema.
Basketball.
How do you see that one going? And KD on his stuff lately, talking crazy to Bruce Brown. This should be a good one.
By the way, I just want to say, between all of us, we know what KD said. You know what the magic words were to get Bruce like that, right?
If that is the case,
he invited him to his nether regions. That's what happened. I'm telling you.
If that is the case, hey, you should have stayed in Golden State then. Don't get mad. It can't be you can't be upset at Draymond then.
Right. True. Because you crossed that line. You crossed that line for sure. Ben, that Lakers Houston game is going to be exciting. That's the game of the day. OKC and the Spurs thing. I'm sorry, I'm nostalgic, man. Give me the guys we grew up with battling it out one more time, and Bron and KD, which is always fun. And you add Luca, and hopefully Reeves is back by then. I don't know what's wrong with Reeves. I don't know what happened. I'm sure the injury has been disclosed. It just seemed like it happened out of nowhere. I didn't see him get hurt. Must be soft tissue or something. But hopefully he's back by then. He's ready to play. And the Lakers are healthy, and we get a really good matchup that night. And Ime and Bron already had some smoke in the past because Ime was talking crazy to him on the sideline, and you know how Ime is. Ime gonna invite you to his other regions too. That's how he gets down as a coach. He talks crazy. So I'm very, very excited about that game. That is a game I will make sure I am. I'll be stuffed with ham and mac and cheese and all types of delicacies at that point in the night. So I'll be ready to sit there and watch that game for sure. Here go Miles though. Hey, we might even play a little Christmas football. Might get right.
Hey, that sounds good
Miles
to
never show up
me.
to those. Miles
That
never show up to
sound
that. You know, Miles should show up and be a big tight end. Miles, what's the tight end? Jack Stoll.
Hey, Miles, so you were shaking your head when he said ham and mac and cheese. Are you planning? Is it salad happening on at the Davenport house?
No, I'm still gonna have some good stuff to eat. It was just descriptions. He was real.
Yeah,
He was real into
I knew
it.
that's what I knew why. I knew why. That's why he did that. I'm just saying. At that
Well,
point in the
yo,
evening, I will have eaten.
sidebar. I know y'all saw this. Who was it? KG had brought up. Don't vote for LeBron for All
I
Star.
was going to bring it up.
Yeah.
Yes, talk
Don't
about
vote
it.
for LeBron for All Star because he's not gonna play. I'm like, no, he should be the number one vote getter every year. Like this is the GOAT. This is the guy who every year he plays. It's a career high for that age at this point. Like he's what 25-7 right now at what 41 years old. You don't want to vote for him for the All Star game. Like sometimes it's just for clicks. You just need a quick video to to get one off. But like that's just so asinine to me when I heard that. I was like, why would these kids not vote for LeBron when you don't know how many more of these he's gonna have? Like that's the main thing.
Can I
As
just
good
say
as good
between
as good as KG's podcast is, he don't have enough pull that he's gonna get the entire nation out to vote for Braun anyway. Just throwing that out there, like
Tone, and I'll piggyback on what you just said. Between Paul Pierce and KG, there's one brain cell shared. So there's that too. There's that problem they have too, because I heard Paul Pierce say not long ago that he could guard LeBron James. I think it was now at this age he could guard Bron. Is that what he said? And I knew then, I was like, yeah, well, Paul. I'm not listening to nothing with Paul Pierce on it, anyways. I didn't like Paul Pierce when he was a player. I have not grown to like him more as a person the more I hear him speak about things. As a matter of fact, he's just proven me correct in my dislike for him as a child. So here we are. That's all I'm saying. Doesn't mean he's not a great player. It just means that he's an idiot.
yeah, nah. I think more so than the one brain cell. Wasn't he a net? The one brain cell that was shared that you were alluding
Something's wrong.
to. That
I
you're
don't want it in
alluding
here.
to. The one brain cell that you're alluding to, right? When it comes to Paul Pierce, KG, I won't even go that far. I just say that it's clear still years after they retired. You can tell with certain players
The jealousy.
they don't like they don't like LeBron.
The jealousy.
They don't like LeBron. They still don't. They try to tell their own truth, and we LeBron at one point they were saying LeBron should thank them for his greatness because we forced him to go get better, and he went to Miami, and we forced him to add a post game and all this stuff. We forced him to do that. We forced him to have the game in Cleveland where he had the 46 and 18 straight. That's because we brought the greatness out. Like you hear it from players across the league. The Darius Miles of the world who still don't want to own up to the fact when he was saying that he wouldn't be good off his rookie year. Like you can hear it in some of these players on their podcasts and their takes. The last game of the night you have, which I still think is more interesting than that Knicks Cavs game and the Dallas Golden State game. You got Minnesota, Denver, Timberwolves has been coming on late. They're kind of like that college team that they beating the ranked teams. They may lose on a random Wednesday night to the Washington Wizards, but when they see Denver, when they see OKC, Nas Reed, Julius Randle, and Ant-Man, Gobert here and there, Anthony Edwards, they up to play that game. They ready to play those games. How you see that the nightcap game going? Ant-Man and crew against Jokic and crew.
I'll be honest with you, man. I think Denver's playing at a really high level right now. I think Denver's going to beat them up. Obviously, Ant and those guys can go get a win at any given night. but it kind of feels like the whole Timberwolves thing and the core they have there is a little stale. I think they need some change. When you bring in Randall, I'm never going to be excited about that as a guy who has had the Julius Randle experience be very local here in the New York, New Jersey area. I got a chance to see him up close and see the things I don't like. I got a chance to see that car up close. I'm not really a fan, but in all seriousness, right? I'm not in love with the core of that team. I think McDaniels is awesome. I think McDaniels and Ant's a nice little 1-2, but you gotta support those guys a little better than maybe they have. And I think the Cat trade was interesting because you didn't make that roster better when you traded Cat. Like that's the issue I have with the Cat trade. You were a Western Conference Finals team, and you didn't make your ceiling higher by making the trades you made to the point where I'm hearing DiVincenzo and trade rumors. I'm not sure if that's being initiated or on the Timberwolves side, or if it's Nick just trying to claw back, trying to get back at their old thing. They want to get their old fling back. They want to get back with their ex-girlfriend. That could be what it is coming from the Knicks side of things, where they're too good to raise cup champ banners. But I do think that the reality of it is I just think that Jokic is playing at such a high level. The Nuggets are humming really well. They're playing really, really well as a team. They're scary. They're extremely dangerous, and they're a team that's going to be there standing at the end unless a team like Houston or a team like the Lakers make a move to get into that stratosphere with the OKCs, Denvers, and the Spurs. Like you got to get into that stratosphere by making a move. But they've been very good, and it's been quiet. And I understand that because they're in Denver, and we don't really talk about Denver overall as a concept. We don't talk about Denver as a place. There's nothing remarkable about Denver. It's very scenic. We don't talk about it, so we understand. But they're very, 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 very. They're an elite team, and so I think they're going to win that game handily. I'll be honest with you. At that point, after the Lakers game, I'd probably be on the game or something. I ain't gonna lie to you. You gotta have the game on the corner, but I ain't sitting down like it's appointment television. Sitting down like you know ready to watch the game. Like, it ain't like that. Like, at that point. Yeah, it's a good game, though. I have it on the side.
Hey, Miles, I just want to ask you before we end off the show, y'all share your favorite Christmas memories. And I'm talking about, obviously, basketball related. I don't think our viewers want to know your favorite Christmas gift at 3 or something like that. But basketball, NBA Christmas game related, maybe Kobe, Shaq, that first time they saw each other, that regard, or on the NFL side. But Anthony Edwards has been in the conversations of future face of the NBA. We know he is top tier level talented NBA player. On any given night, he can be the best player in the NBA. The Timberwolves, though, as a team, as a franchise, they haven't got better at the point guard position. They've had 2 Western Conference Finals chips, but how OKC is.
They spent like major capital on to increase to get better at the point guard position, and you got Rob Dillingham. You use that draft capital to do it, and he's been a failure. And I told my brothers who think I'm crazy because Robert Dillingham is living off of his legend as a child. It's like you think he's from Jersey the way people treat him. They're like, oh, he's good. I'm like, no, he sucks. Rob Dillingham sucks. He's not good. He doesn't defend well. He doesn't take great shots. His shot profile sucks. What about him is good? He's not a floor setter for his teammates. He does nothing at a high level as an NBA player. He's a guy that we're looking at as a guy who will flame out if this continues. He's going to end up being a guy who has a legendary mixtape on some Tavon Austin type stuff. But he's not ever going to become the player people thought he could be as a professional in the NBA. He's going to make a nice career for himself somewhere else. This is where we're headed because he again. There's no like great, discernible, high-level NBA skill that he does. It's a shame. We don't talk about the Timberwolves very often. Again, another place, Minnesota. We don't talk about them. But to that point, like now we're talking about him. You spent that capital to get better at point guard, and you came up with a dud. You didn't make your team better. You didn't make your team better in the wake of letting go of Cat. It's all kind of a domino effect, and so we're talking about it. But I just wanted to interject with that because I was told I was bugging.
I mean, they should just feel lucky that they were able to get Anthony Edwards, because otherwise this team would just be in the basement like the Sacramento Kings. Like
so with that point, right? Do we see big picture? Ant obviously has aspirations to be the best guy in the league. He don't want to be the face. But to your point, Anthony Edwards, you lucky that you got Anthony Edwards in Minnesota, but you have not done what you needed to do to get better, to get that man a championship, which would make him want to stay. Do we think at some point we're going to see Anthony Edwards out of Minnesota because they are not, as a franchise, setting him up to win, and we're going to see, i.e., full circle, Kevin Garnett saying, I want to win and I can't do it here with Anthony Edwards?
100%. I mean, it's going to be the same thing that happened with KG. Like, he realized that they're not going to do enough to allow me to really compete in the Western Conference. So maybe you look to the East. I know he's from Atlanta. That could always be an option if he really wanted to go home. But I'm sure he's got bigger aspirations. Like, he might not be the smartest off the court, but he wants to be the best guy on the court. And this guy can be one of those top 5 players that we talk about of this generation. Like, that's how talented he is. And it just sucks because I don't know if he'll realize it here. Like, this is a guy who, if he's on a better team, he's getting more buzz for MVP. We have commercials for him, but this is a guy that you could really market as the NBA face of the league. But Minnesota is kind of it's dry out there. Like, this is not a real market for him to reach that in Minnesota. So I'm curious how long it's going to take, but you got to prepare for it at some point. Same with like Donovan Mitchell when we were talking about it in Utah. Just going to reach a point where I'm not winning here. Like, sure, the money's good. I got my family out here. All that's cool. But legacies are built on what you did in the league. I mean, Charles Barkley might argue against it, but it's the truth. Like, if you win in the NBA, if you win a championship, that's why it was so big for JT and Jaylen Brown to win one. Like, otherwise, they'd just be some other guys of this generation that, they had success, but what it really amounts to. I mean, sure, you could say that. But,
they got the easiest path to an NBA championship I've ever seen. Everybody got hurt along the way. It was fugazi. I'm sorry. It was a fugazi championship.
I was flowing, but it's all good. It's
sorry.
cool.
I'm sorry. I just had to say that because I just, I saw Jaylen Brown say something like, "Oh, you have the hair, you have the residue of a champion on you," referring to his blackout being on people's jerseys. Dude, you're like barely a champion, bro. Like you guys like steamrolled in the Eastern Conference where every point guard of the opposing team you guys played got hurt along the way. All right, you beat who you was in front of you. You won a championship. It's cool, but I'm sorry. I don't like. They're a very good basketball team. They've been a very good basketball team, but there's something incredibly unserious about those two as a duo of a championship team. This is to me like I've just seen them have IBS in moments and just have like I've just seen it too much. I've seen them falter too many times for me to be like these are guys that are slam dunk top 10 guys, and Jason Tatum is seen that way, and I understand that he deserves the respect, sure, but I've seen him have IBS. I don't know, man. The standard's so different. The standard's so different. I grew up in, guys would kill you for not playing well, man. I don't know. Like, how people talked about Bron coming up. How people talked about Kobe. You know what I'm saying? It's just different. We don't look at those guys the same. I don't like it when those guys invoke those guys' names. If you're Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, you can't even say Kobe and Bron names. Don't bring it up. Don't say it. Just don't say their names because it ain't the same. It ain't the same. Don't compare it. I know I'm going off the beaten path, but I just get annoyed. As we move into this new guard, this Gen Z, this NBA Gen Z, I know where this is going. I know who I'm gonna be, and I hate it. But it's just, maybe the band still come in the league and I'll feel different. I don't know. Michael Brown,
maybe. Miles, maybe. You were saying with the aspect of the winning part and how important it is for Anthony Edwards to get a title. Does it now to Greg's point too, right? in this era of basketball, does it have to be a title? Like, what if he makes the finals and doesn't get it done, and it's more so of a situation of the team surrounded him, but Anthony Edwards showed up?
I mean, that's the same thing they punished Braun for. Like he would make the finals, and the team around him was not the best, but because it's Braun, he's got to get over the hump. If you're a great player, at some point you got to figure it out, regardless of what you have on your team. Like sometimes it's out of your control. Like Braun against that KD team that got swept, or AI against that Shaq and Kobe team. Like those are teams that were probably unbeatable. So sometimes it's out of your control. But when you have a team right in their crosshairs, like when they lost to Denver a couple years ago, like you got to beat those teams, and you got to get over that hump to truly show that you can be a team that we're really concerned with in the NBA. I don't think teams wake up and they're really concerned with the Timberwolves. And sure, they got Ant on there, and it's cool. Like he's making fancy layups, but you still got Randall on your left, and you got Gobert behind you. Like they really messed this team up when they made that Gobert trade because it was unnecessary. You traded assets for no reason for a guy who's not a star. Um, and because of it, you traded your second best player in Cat. Like, I'm not saying Cat should have been a lifelong Timberwolf, but he should have been on this team longer than Rudy Gobert was able to last on this team. So, yeah, poor decisions. That's what's going to get Ant out of here. Like, at some point, he's going to get frustrated with losing to OKC so often, even after beating them the other night. Like, you're going to see this team in the playoffs, and they're better than you. Like, even if Shea's not out there, they're a better team than you. So, I don't know if he goes to another team in the Western Conference, if they even do that move, or an Eastern Conference team comes out of nowhere and shocks them with an offer. But I know they have new management in there. It's a hard sell to trade your best player. Ask Dallas.
Facts. I don't know if A Rod and crew actually make that move, especially being that it seems like they got tight now since Anthony Edwards actually find out who he, who Alex Rodriguez actually was. So don't know if that happens. It might be free agency. He gonna have to leave because I don't see that happening. But that's a wrap for this episode. If you stay ready, you ain't gotta get ready. Being me, we out. Peace.
Peace.
Dog, I am freezing right